Okay. Go. Go. We are live. We are live. Let me see. Okay. Let me make sure we're live because
I think we're
sometimes,
live.
like I said, everybody, this is my first time back.
Looks
And
live.
however, I know, and it was I'm so happy that you agreed to come on. Let me see. All right, we're not live yet.
Oh, okay.
We're not live yet. Let me see. We're recording. We're live on YouTube.
Oh, great.
Yes. But Facebook is being shady.
Ah,
For some
Facebook.
reason. Anyway, I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I think I emailed you in the middle of pandemic. I
Yeah.
was like, I want to do this piece that
Oh,
you.
yeah.
It was the one, the Malcolm the was it the Malcolm X eulogy?
Oh, that was one. Yeah, 1965.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, that was a piece. 1965 epilogue. I think it was a piece actually written by Ozzie Davis
Yes.
for upon the death of Mr. Muhammad and Malcolm X, and yeah, it's. I think it was also moved. Well, I first heard it in the movie with Denzel Washington, and it's
Mm,
actually, if my memory serves me correctly, Ozzie Davis reading it in this kind of montage towards the end.
yes.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? Like how did
Uh,
you decide?
I read the autobiography, of course, and I have to assume it's in one of the editions of the autobiography. So I might have actually read it first. Now I can't remember, but it's certainly in the movie. And then I had an opportunity. I was working at Harlem School of the Arts, actually, and I had an opportunity to set it for violin and voice.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, it was just kind of a commission from the Harlem School of the Arts, if I remember correctly. And I think it was Daryl Taylor,
Yes.
yeah, who for the great Daryl Taylor, we went to school together, University of Michigan, who first sang it, and I played it.
Oh,
And
you did.
yeah, I
Wow.
reluctantly played it, but yes, I did play it. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was moving, very moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting when I came across the piece. I think I emailed you and was like, "There's only the manuscript, and I can't. It hadn't
Right.
been engraved yet."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "I
I
can't
know.
do it, and I want to do it." And I think I had like 10 questions, like, "Can a woman do it?" And like,
Of
it was
course.
the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I still have hope that you and I will be able to do that together on some.
Oh, I would love that. I'll get it engraved. I don't think it's engraved. I say it's the vinyl. It's still in vinyl. Yeah. But
Awesome.
I'll get it engraved. I should get it engraved. I should.
Okay, you
Yeah.
heard it. You should. You should.
I
You heard it
should.
first on Convos. Like, we got a
Yeah.
date because when it's on Convos, it's set, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we're live everywhere.
Okay.
Thank you, Toll Cross, my dear. He is in the Convos crew.
Ah,
Martin is all the way in
gotcha.
Scotland,
Gotcha.
and he has been such a loyal fan and family, as I say, with the Combos crew. So people are coming. Hey.
Oh yeah, I see him now. Yeah, told. Hey, Mike Bolton. Sorry, Mike Bolton.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nicholas. Yes.
Nick, yes,
Oh,
Nick,
all
yes.
our
I
people are
know it's
here. Our people are here.
yes, people are here. It's an afternoon for the I know. I know normally we do it at night when we can have a cocktail, but not today. We're gonna be good today.
Next
Okay.
time.
Next time.
Mhm.
Now I just want to introduce one of the most prolific artists. I can't
Oh,
even say I can't put you in a category.
oh,
Like
wow. Okay.
you're not in a category as I was, I'd already been of course a big fan because I'm a Philly girl. I'm from Philly.
Mm, hmm.
And the first time I heard I'm from Philly. I live in Philly, all the things. I heard We Shall Not Be Moved. Um,
Mm,
I
yeah.
was like, who is this?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I appreciate. Yeah, that was quite the year. Maybe 2016, 2017. Can't remember. Actually, Mike Bolton's, who's here. I think I did my first school visit with him at a school he had a great relationship with. It was profoundly moving, and we didn't really have an idea of. I don't even think I was at that point invited in to actually do an opera. I think it was more about maybe starting a relationship, writing some arias, kind of feeling one another out. And
Hmm.
then things progressed pretty quickly after, you know, several visits. Hey, Jim Leaverthal is here, the great Jim
Yes.
Leaverthal, and Patrice. Um, and yeah, that's a piece that we talk about the careful curatorial patient practice of your creative team.
Mm-hmm.
So with Mark Bamuti Joseph and the great Bill T. Jones,
Hmm.
I was surrounded by incredible artists who I just wrote for them, very simply. Yeah.
Amazing. And as we are, as those of us who have the traditional classical background, and I really want to give you the opportunity to share how you got into this world, like why violin, all those things. I just
Sure.
wanted to say, those of us who are, I went to Curtis, so I'm like old
Mm,
school traditional, like opera. I decided I wanted to be an opera singer at 16, and that's all I ever wanted to do.
mm,
When I was always sitting on wanting to expand and do other things because again, you couldn't say that,
right.
hey, I have other passions, I have other dreams and stuff. And so during the pandemic, when everybody was sitting at home, I was given the opportunity, and I kind of took the opportunity to do other things, to create, to find collaborators, and do all those things. So for many of us, it is a very new, and I'm understanding how important the team is, or how important putting people together who support your vision. So we can
Yeah.
talk about that too. But I'm glad you mentioned that. And I'm from Philly, so I got to watch Move on TV as a kid. I got to see the
Oh,
whole
wow. Yeah.
saw the whole, burning in the neighborhood and all the bombing and all
Oh,
that stuff,
yeah.
so
Ooh,
opera
yeah.
resonated with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, a lot of good did come out of that premiere and performance, and we were able to. I was able to meet with Ramona Africa and Sue Africa, who were
Yes.
um, victims, who were there that day in that house,
Hmm.
visited Osage Avenue, and yeah, it's one of those works that it addresses a wound, but that healing process will take time.
Yes. Still,
Um, a
still.
lot of time, yeah.
Hmm.
The opera is going to be done again at the Opera America Conference in Pittsburgh,
Oh,
second week of May, I believe.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Same
so
here.
that's yeah, pretty much. Some of the star. Well, they're all stars, right? But
Yes.
John Holiday, I
Yes.
believe, will be back, and Dwayne, one of the OGs, and I think our Glenda will be back, and others. But
Yes,
yeah,
Kirsten. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Kirsten Chavez, yeah.
Yes. We
So
go way back to young artist days, so I've known her for a long time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and, that's right. Jim Adam Richardson will be back.
Yes,
So
Adam and Aubrey, my baby boy.
yeah, I think there are some changes, but
Okay,
that's
okay.
the nature of opera, as you know.
You ain't got to tell
Um,
me.
and
I
you live it. Ooh, opera is
brutal,
beautiful and
brutal.
brutal. That's right, beautiful and brutal.
Yes,
Just
sir.
like life. Life is beautiful and brutal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
tell us, share with us how you got your start, where you're from, and why
Yeah.
violin.
I started playing violin when I was 5 years old. Public school system in South Florida, Margate, Florida.
Mhm.
That instrument chose me, and I didn't have a choice. The sound of it, the look of it. It's hard for me to remember life before the violin. The same way it's hard for me to remember life before my 13-year-old son, Zachary.
Mm.
There's just these gaps almost. Wasn't it always there? You know, and Public school system. Went to a what they used to call a magnet school, Performing Arts Center in Sunrise. Dillard School of the Performing Arts. Black violin went there. Um, what is his name? Can't think. See, I'm forgetting things already. But some really great graduates came out of that high school program. And I went to Vanderbilt. Went to University of Michigan. Absolutely made my way to Harlem, New York City. There's undeniables. And yeah, my career really started in about, well, it was 1997, January 1st, 1997. I moved to New York City. The first place I went was 63rd Street and First Avenue. That was the house that Martha Graham had built. The townhouse was still there. So I
Mm.
had done a lot of work with dancers at University of Michigan, a lot of work in the theater. That led me to Bill T. Jones. Janet Wong actually led me to Bill T. Jones. She's still with him, the associate director of the company. And it's one of those New York stories. I was in the right place at the right time. I met Janet. She introduced me to Bill. Bill introduced me to the world, really. And we're still working together, since I don't know what 20, oh, wow, 20, I can't do the math, but it's 26 years later, 27 years later. Yeah, yeah. I'm still working with some of the same people. Yeah. And very lucky, very fortunate. Yeah.
Yes, because as we know, as I was saying, collaborations and relationships and all the things can be tricky, of
Yeah.
course, and complicated, especially when you're making art, new art, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We have some beautiful people on the line, by the way. Anna.
Listen,
Anna is here. Jim. Yes. Wow. The chat.
yeah,
I wish we could bring everybody into this room and they
I
all have stories to
know.
tell.
I know when
Jim,
we do a
Anna,
live
Maya.
combos, I'm trying to like figure
Crazy.
out my situation. If I had a sponsor, hello Amex,
That's
um, give me one of those.
or Uber. Or Uber. Yeah, I should.
Yes, we want those fabulous grants so we can like do it for
Yeah,
real big in the studio and all that kind of stuff. Yes, listen, the
absolutely.
combos crew is heavy, heavy.
Yeah, this is well. This is like I'm with royalty, right? Everybody, am I with royalty or what? I'm with
Come
royalty.
on.
Yes, and
Hey Anna.
yeah, Anna's doing incredible work at National Sawdust. We've been
She
working together. Oh,
is.
there's Avi. Oh my gosh, Avi. Sorry, we're
Mhm.
just calling people out. Be careful,
Yes,
Terry. Oh my God. I
yes.
mean, wow.
We got to
Sorry,
get combo.
I know
Yes.
we're supposed to be talking, but I want to talk about everybody in this room.
No, you
Yeah.
have to. That's a part of the show.
Well,
That's the beauty of it. And sometimes the
yeah.
chat gets very lit. It
I'll
gets
tell you
very
what, wow. Well, it is a relationship based business, and like a lot of businesses, and the best relationships sometimes lead to the best work,
yes.
So Portland Ovations has been an incredible partner to me, and I know to you coming up. And,
Yes.
I think, uh, Portland, Maine is one of those places in America that is extremely beautifully, wonderfully complicated. You
Mm.
know, you
Why?
wouldn't think of it. Well, the incredible Somali population. Oh
Oh.
yeah, it was part of. I don't want to get it wrong, but Portland, Maine, my understanding is one of those destinations, one of those places that communities that was welcoming in all sorts of Syrian, Somali, all sorts of humans at a time when they were coming into the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the first things. The other thing is you have a huge liberal, very progressive population that is very supportive of the arts,
Mm-hmm.
and just as importantly, maybe most importantly, you have Amy and Petrin there. Sorry, Amy, calling you out. Who's a wonderful presenter for decades now, who has always believed in artists and artistic community.
We need
And
that.
yeah, so it's I've worked with Amy for decades now, and actually she brought us together, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and that's part of the beauty of a new ecology for the arts, if you will. Yeah,
Absolutely. Definitely pulled me out of hiatus. And when it was like, we got to get DBR, I said, okay, all right, I'm in. I'm in.
yeah,
So I want to talk about, the idea of what the classical music, right? The idea of
sure.
classical music, the idea
Mhm.
of I hate to say mixing genres and all this kind of stuff. Like I want you to talk about that because you have, to me, in my opinion, when I look at your breadth of work and all in hip hop, you know, classical music, modern and dance, and working with poets and all those things. Like
Yeah.
many of us aspire. I mean, from the people that I talk to, those who are like soul classical people, particularly Black artists. Let's just be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real specific. Aspire to be able to have the courage and comfortably step in to that vast world. So, can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think there's three ways to look at it. I would say that it's exposure, um, it's experience, um, and then it's the essential. So by exposure, I grew up in South Florida. There were so many cultures then and now, actual bands in garages.
Mhm.
And, my parents were from Haiti. Our neighbors were from the Bahamas. Down the street, you had people from the Dominican Republic. Across the street, there was a Jewish family. We had white nationalists.
Mhm.
You know,
Sure.
we moved into our neighborhood, fences went up all around us. So it was very diverse in the best and worst of ways, right? There was conflict and crisis everywhere, but I was exposed to so many things so quickly. And a lot of that was a lot of different music. I was literally working for Two Live Crew. I'm 52 years old. There you go.
Yeah.
And I was working for the now defunct Florida Philharmonic when I was 16 years old, literally working for both these organizations. So I would sub with the Florida Philharmonic with Ray Charles and Dionne Warwick, sitting in the back. And I was doing little tracks for local artists in South Florida. And I was exposed to it all, you know? And then there's this notion of the experience. After that exposure, I wanted to hang on to those experiences. So I went to Vanderbilt University, a very diverse musical town in Nashville. I went to University of Michigan, very diverse music department, and then I went to New York City, very diverse. So, I wanted to continue those experiences, and I think now it's essential, right? That's the third thing. These building, the scaffolding of my career, I've identified the things that I want to hold on to the most, and those things are essential. So for me, it's the title of my pieces, right? For
Mhm.
me, it is hip hop music and funk music and jazz music. That's part of my musical vernacular. And for me, it's performing. Getting on stage. As
Mhm.
you know, that is hard. That is really hard. You feel vulnerable all the time. You're always kind of looking out for people who not just look like you, but they have those kind of sympathetic, empathetic eyes,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, I think that I got very lucky in that my patient father wanted to be in a warm climate, South Florida. But
Yes.
then I also got very lucky that I was very much determined to establish what was essential in my life. In Harlem, not New York City, right? Harlem was essential. My landlady, Miss Logan, who knew Ralph Ellison, right?
Mhm.
Essential. So I think that's one way I think any young artist can
Mhm.
can think about their experience, well, their exposure, which you really can't control per se, but then your experiences and then determining what's essential for
Yeah.
your creative practice. You've done exactly the same thing, by the way.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
done exactly the same thing. Yeah.
I'm glad you wrote. I'm writing essential down now because it is about during the pandemic. I was like, I have to do things that not just feel right for me, but I had to express what was on my spirit, on my soul, and I had to get it out. And that is that essential. Like I wanted to make work that was essential for me to just get it out in the time, in the what was necessary, what it just I couldn't just sing a Schubert song. I couldn't just sing that. I
Right.
had to sing Black music. I had to sing spirituals. I had to sing pieces written by Black composers. I had to sing, I swear to you, like if I had 16 bars, I cannot rap, but that is my aspiration.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah,
My husband says,
yeah,
"Please, Karen, stop." Because we grew up in the golden era. Like him, I mean, I'm not that much younger than you are.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
47, 48. So like
What?
yeah, and I grew up
Oh
like
no, you look 28. You look 28. Come on now. You sure about that? Check that birth certificate. Check it out. You might want to double check that driver's license. You look 28 to me, maybe
no,
29.
I'm preserved well, honey. No, no.
Oh, whatever water you're drinking, keep drinking that water. Send me some. Send me
Okay.
some.
Exactly. No, no, I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I take that. But
Right?
I thank you, Andrea. Oh my God. Do you know Andrea
Well,
Davis?
I know of Andrea, but I have not had the honor. Ooh.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and we have been trying to for 3 months trying to get a call and a conversation in me and Andrea.
Okay, Andrea, she's calling you out.
No, it's me. It's well,
Okay.
she's famous and fabulous and dropping all kind of books and getting all kind of book awards. So I love
Right?
you.
Well, we
Yeah.
got to get you together. I want to see that talk. I want to
Yes.
see that
Oh
conversation.
yeah. Oh, she's coming off. Now that I'm back, she's definitely, definitely. But
Right.
no, I just wanted to say that because
Mm.
it's important because it is also a part of that permission. Essential is
Yeah.
that permission, right?
Yes. It is. I mean, I feel that um well, it is that permission. It is that choice. I don't think I got, it's probably from my mother and my father. I've never written Symphony Number One. It was always Harlem Essay. Just thinking of my titles: Harlem Essay, Riots and Prayers, They Still Want to Kill Us. Why Did They Kill Sandra Bland for solo cello? America, Never Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And now, more recently, Home, Migration, and Our Imagined Daughter. A tone poem to the young Black daughter I've never had. What I would say to her,
Mm-hmm.
right? What I would want to say to her. I'm thinking a lot about forgiveness now too.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to forgive in a time of terror and tribulation?
Mm-hmm.
Very hard for me. Um, but Yeah, I think well, I have a certain amount of choice now. What am I? I was an emerging artist. Then you become an established artist. Is that right? Um,
Right.
and then what happens? I'm not sure what happens after that. Then you're what do you call it? When you're extinct, an extinct artist. Is that?
Then they dig you up again.
And
Remember?
then they get up again. But yeah, I'm thinking a lot about forgiveness and proclamation, proclaiming the things that I love, proclaiming the people and the organizations that are fundamental and undeniable. That would
Yeah.
be you. I think I spent the pandemic protesting, calling people out, calling organizations out. I felt that it was almost my duty, quite frankly. And well, that lives on online and in other places.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking about forgiveness. I'm thinking about proclamation, and I'm thinking about, well, what do the titles of my piece reflect now? Actually,
Mm-hmm.
literally, um, I'm writing a piece for Mark Mamuti Joseph and the Albany Symphony, spoken word and orchestra,
Oh wow.
and he calls it the Forgiveness Project. you know and I'm looking at his words right now, and they, like a lot of Mark's work, it gives me great hope and peace and solace. Quote: redemption, the cycle of sorry and the flattened muscle of the forgiven, the forgotten democracy and the country we leave our children, the transgressions transpired in weakness, the foul play without witness. Forgive us if we won't forget. If I win my struggle to forgive, I just might be free yet.
Mm.
Yet. Ooh, I can't do it like he does. But yeah. So
Forgiveness.
I'm lucky. I'm very lucky that I'm surrounded by artists like you, like
Mm.
Mark, presenters like Amy, um, uh, deans like Steve Tepper and Heather Landis at Arizona State University, the presenter there, Colleen Jennings Rogensack,
Mhm.
who have inspired me and enabled me to think about my responsibility. That's
Yeah.
the word, right? There are
Yes.
these words, I think. Responsibility. What does it mean for us, Black people, BIPOC people? What does it mean for us to think about forgiveness and responsibility, reconciliation in a time of war, conflict,
Yeah.
fists? Anyway, sorry, you got me going to church. Let me
This
rein
is
it.
what this is for. You know, Right. That's what did I tell you when we before we signed off?
You're
If
right. You
it
got
takes you there, I need you to go,
Ooh.
feel free. But I think it's important because, listen, because we all had so much access to each other in this space, everyone only they will take, oh, DBR is, calling everybody out, or,
Yeah.
BOA is doing this thing, or Karen is like dragging people on combos, like whatever. Like
Mm.
they take that only thing. But it is important for us, for everyone to hear you speak about forgiveness, but for them to also understand that it is a decision that we
Mhm.
make for us to forgive, in order for us to heal, or for us to continue to keep moving through the world. And that needs to be
Yeah.
respected. And they need to hear the softness from you as well. Right?
Oh, they need to hear the softness from you. Oh, you gotta make me woo. Now I gotta
It's
thank
true
you for that. You're right. They need to hear the softness from you as well.
as
See,
well.
that's when you hear it, I got chills. You know what I'm saying? Right here. I get it in my shoulders. Like it's
Mm,
right here where the hair used to be. The hair used to be
the
those
locks.
those my son says, Dad, you used to look so cool. What happened? What happened? I got the chills right
You're
here.
still
Right
fine,
here.
baby. You're still fine.
I will take that. I will take that.
Oh
Thank
yes,
you.
honey. You're still fine.
Ooh, thank you. Gets harder each year. Gets harder each year. I said thank you, and it gets harder each. I got to get to my orange theory. My orange theory. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's too early, DVR. It's
I'm
too
sorry.
early.
It's too early, right? Well, health, vacate the mind. But
Yeah.
yeah, the softness. They need to hear. I agree. I agree with that. And last night I was at Longy College School of Music. Sorry, in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I gave a talk on altruism and forgiveness.
Mhm.
And I read from a wonderful. It's called Goodness. Can't remember the rest of the title. It was a speech that Toni Morrison gave in 2012 on goodness, altruism, and forgiveness at the Harvard Divinity School.
Wow.
And without getting into the details and the weeds of that, what she
Mhm.
said, it was just, and I think she's by the way, I think there's a postage stamp now that Toni Morrison is featured on, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Very important. Yeah, I'm finding solace in the work and words of artists that have always been um, profoundly informed and intelligent and brilliant and beautiful and real and vulnerable on stage.
Mm.
You, right?
Mhm.
Yes, maestra. Yes, but I think your work is so important because I do think that you have given voice to um, you've given voice and you are a voice towards change
Yeah.
and adventure, right? I mean, I'm looking at the chat. I think they're, oh, Derek. Hey, Derek Bermel. The great Derek Bermel is here. We went to school together. Ooh.
Oh
Again.
yes, I
Yeah,
love Derek.
we went to University of Michigan. We went to University of Michigan. But you've given voice in such a way that is always so sophisticated and brilliant,
Yeah.
yet accessible, right? Not
Yes.
an easy trick, not an easy thing to do. Yes.
Well, listen, it's hard for me sometimes to take compliments, outside of course the singing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me. And even, like I always say, when Aaron and Afa called me about the Sphinx Award, I was weeping
Oh, so
because
well deserved.
because I just don't. I never thought that this platform would open up so many things for other people, and then myself as well. But like I never thought anyone was looking at me like that, because it's a tough career, it's a tough business. I feel like sometimes I'm always fighting and pushing and against
Mhm.
so many things, because I don't fit so neatly in boxes.
Yeah.
Ever, never, ever in my entire career, and I'm so it's been difficult in that way. But as my dear friend Ben Newman, who's on this call, he's a
I
wonderful.
see that. Yeah.
He
Ooh,
tells
all
me
right,
you
Ben.
need to lean, and he was the one that really pushed me to lean into, like, if they're gonna give you like only black roles, like like don't fight against that. Lean into it, into the fullness of all of the things. You
Right.
do your thing, right? Lean into instead of
Yeah.
away from. So I have to say that there are people like the collaborations in your life that push you to do those things. So anyway, I appreciate that. I will take that from you because you are very well respected in my brain, and I'm just dying for the collaboration. Listen,
I'm
I'm going
so
to listen to
glad.
this and I'm gonna
I'm
put
so
all of
glad
the
I'm in
things.
your brain. That's what I heard. A great place to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I want you to talk about proximity.
Oh,
We
so
have to we have to talk about that
we got to talk a
piece.
little bit about proximity. Okay, so proximity is a it's an evening length work that I am a part of. There are three composers involved. This was commissioned by the Lyric Opera of Chicago, of which you have a wonderful relationship, and it's myself, Caroline Shaw, and John Luther Adams. We've all written new works for the Lyric Opera of Chicago. They were going to be performed in one night. Yuval Sharon, who's our wonderful director, I believe he's the Musical America's Director of the Year from last year, wonderful director in Detroit as well, Detroit Opera, I think renamed. He has sewn together our individual operas in a very fantastic way. So you get my first act, followed, or right, yeah, my act one opens the show, and then Caroline's act one comes after mine, and so on and so forth. And so they're all sewn together in these different ways. You get a scene from one of my operas followed by a scene from Caroline's opera,
Mhm.
right? And it's almost like watching, I don't know, Netflix or Amazon or something. You have these three stories that are being told out of kind of order or sequence, but
Mhm.
yet makes a lot of sense, total sense. Fantastical stage design. Anna Devere Smith wrote the libretto that I set to music, and like a lot of her work, almost all of her work in the theater, she interviewed people in Chicago, and those interviews became transcripts. Those transcripts became the libretto.
Mhm.
And these are actual stories. And some of the actual people we hope and pray will be coming to the opera. Some of
Yes.
these stories are extremely difficult to hear. Um, and, without taking away from them, they are the stories of Chicago,
Mhm.
where it is now. Um, there is hope and beauty and love and some terror in these stories. Um, but the music does many things. We have an electric bass player and a drum kit in the pit. Um, but it's. I'll say one thing about the vocal technique. It's a kind of vocal code switching. There are times where I'm actually asking the singers to do things that are very much like Megan the Stallion. It's a kind of stretch stimma in the score.
Okay.
And there's, some soul singing, and of course there's some opera singing.
Of course. Of
Of
course.
course, we have a children's choir on the stage. They're wonderful, and there's also my take on Bach, where everybody is singing. Right, the
Mhm.
entire cast, more than 100 people, and that's the Lyric Opera Chorus, the Children's Chorus of Chicago. I think they've been renamed.
Mhm.
Our principals, every color you can imagine, every kind of vocal type style you can imagine. So yeah, that's proximity in a nutshell.
That's amazing. I'm coming to the premiere. I told DBR that I was
Ooh.
coming. Yes, I
Thank you.
I was contemplating like when I was gonna come, later or or opening, and I was like, I have to come to opening night. It's the
Uh,
night to come. It's the energy, it's the excitement, and then we get to see the
yeah,
creatives.
yeah, yeah,
Opening night, and so I'm so excited to
yeah.
see this piece, to live it. It's been an interesting 2 years, and I was telling
Mhm.
after I did a work not too long ago by Sean Ocapello, I was like, I cannot sing any more stories about Black pain, Black trauma.
Yep, yep,
I never
yep.
used trauma so much in my life, but as in the last couple. But then I fight with myself because I'm like, Karen, there is no light unless you have dark. That is even
Yeah,
with great singing. Chiaroscuro, you must have light and dark. You must have the balance. You must the journey is going through something, right? So you can't just shy away. You can't, you have to, I just, so for me, I have to learn how to, I have to learn a new technique and get some more tools in my shed to understand that I have to leave it, some of that stuff on the stage and not carry it with me. But it's hard because then I go out into the world and they just see a black woman, and then I would have to relive all of those things. They don't give a shit that, excuse me, that I went to school, fancy school.
Ooh,
Well, y'all, they know I do cuss a little bit.
here we go.
Um,
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it moving. Keep it real.
yes, yeah. She is,
Yeah,
she is an opera singer, but
that's
anyway.
right. Oh, I love it. Even that sound is good. See, to me, that sounds good. See, that sounds good. It's tone.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
in my opera with Anna, in our I want to say in our opera, there's a scene called Females, and I'll just give a little taste.
Mhm.
And Anna was very clear about the power of um, black women. And the line, can you imagine I don't want to get too much in it, but in the libretto it said, females be the one. And that became this whole, and who would have thought that females be the one, be the one? And who would have thought that females be the one, be the one? And who would have thought that females be the one, be the one? Ooh, and who would have thought that females be the one, be the one? Uh, Ooh, right. Everybody sings that line. You dig?
Uh-huh.
Everybody is singing that line. The orchestra. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, if you that's an earworm. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And there's also towards the end. I thought about Satyagraha. Am I right? Is it Satya? No, I think it's Satyagraha. Yeah, there's this Satyagraha. These 8 notes, right? At towards the end. Da, 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 yeah, these ascending lines. I'm sorry, Derek would know this better than I do, but I do something similar where you have a young mother singing for the death of her son, her baby actually, but also she's pregnant and singing for what will be the birth of her daughter. Daughter's name is Serenity. The son's name was Sincere.
Mm.
Oh, and
Mm.
she's on that. And here's the thing. Sorry, I'm giving away a little bit too much, but I won't say the names. I won't say this, but that story was from when Anna interviewed her about 3 years ago. That child is almost 4 years now, 4 years old now.
Mhm.
And I hope she comes. She may come. She may come to this opera and see her name and hear those notes.
Mhm.
It is how I won't. Yuval has put this actual woman in Chicago who has suffered so much and has survived and is so successful on
Mhm.
that stage, singing about her life and her children. Anyway, sorry, you kind of taking me there, uh,
That's what we do.
Maestra. You're taking me there, Karen. You're
Kiki,
taking me.
it's
Kiki,
okay.
yeah, Kiki.
We
How do
can't
you
give
say
it
it?
all away.
You say KK or Kiki? How do you say it?
Kiki, Kiki.
Kiki, you're taking me there.
Kiki. Yeah.
So yeah.
Listen, y'all better go see that show. And
Mhm.
when they pick it up, y'all better go see it in your town.
Mhm.
So
Well, my son's going to be my date, Kiki. So you're going to meet him. Hmm.
okay. We
Oh
gotta make
yeah,
sure
he's.
our
Oh
selfie for the
yeah,
gram.
that's right. Pulled him out of school. He's flying to Chicago by himself for the first time. It's good for
Great.
him. It's good for him. Well, I say that. Well, it is good for him. You never know what's going to happen on a plane, right? I mean, anything can happen on a plane.
We're not
But
gonna
he's coming. He's coming, and you're going to meet him. We'll take the three of us will be in that frame together, and that's the thing, right? I want my young son to meet you, to understand what you do. It's so important. It's the best gift I can give him are these experiences.
mm.
That's that word that comes back. These experiences. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is giving it back, showing them that's how I got into it, seeing Denise Graves, sing. It was possible to see
Mhm.
it on the stage, see
Yeah.
her on the stage. So it was possible.
Yeah. I saw her just recently at Spinks Connect.
Uh-huh.
She gave an opening kind of what do they call that? Opening
Like a
what do they call
speech.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
should know. Uh,
It's all right. It's
there's a
early.
name for it. Somebody put it in the chat for me. I'm on the APAC board. I should know what it is. She gave the opening, not convict. There's a it starts with a P. It's going to drive me crazy. And it was her and Damian Sneed in conversation
Mhm.
actually, and it was so powerful, so wonderful. Um,
Amazing.
Plenary, thank you, Jim. That was going to drive me crazy. Yeah, she gave the opening plenary, and I agree with you. I think Denise Graves is someone who has really done the work,
Hmm.
and it well, it's just so important for me to, and that's one thing I want to start doing as I am I guess, an established artist, is
Hmm.
thinking much more about the people who came before us, and
Yes.
really, hopefully, being able to work with them more, and
Mhm.
collaborate with them and honor them, support them. Who would you
Absolutely.
like to work with? Who's your dream collaboration, Kiki?
Why'd you
Dream
ask?
collaboration.
Oh my God, my
Flip
dream
this
collab
around. Yes, use your dream collaboration. Ooh, and we're
Stevie
recording.
Wonder. Stevie Wonder would be
Ooh, I would love that. Oh my
BBR,
gosh,
Stevie Wonder,
I would
Kiki.
love that. Yes,
Yes.
and Stevie on piano. That would be
Yes.
amazing. We'll set up on the key. He plays this really cool, incredible controller now too. I saw the other day. Fine, we'll have the electronics, but they have him on piano. Maybe what do they call it?
Harmonica.
Harmonica. I'm forgetting my words. Piano, harmonica, and you.
Come
Incredible
on.
voice.
I'm ready.
I need 2 hours of that. 2 hours of that'll be good.
I'll be no more good
I'll
after
be
that.
good.
I think I would sing my throat completely out. Like I'll be
I
no more.
love that.
That would be
I
okay. So
I just want to sneak on in the back for 3 minutes, play a little bit in silhouette, and then be out.
come on. No, I need you
Just
there
three
to
minutes.
hold
Three
me
minutes.
up.
Be out. Be out.
No, no. I mean,
Ooh,
we need more people on that other
mm,
side to understand that we need them. We want
right.
to collaborate. We want to, you know, on the Roots too. I would love to do something with
Ooh.
Roots. Nas is one of my favorite rappers of all time.
Ooh.
Um,
Yes.
uh, can I get ratchet? Uh,
I want to see you and Megan. You and Rihanna. You and Rihanna.
Rihanna,
You and Megan. Yeah.
come on, Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I would, yes, I would love
Yeah.
to. And of course, what that does is expand me as well. It gives
Yeah.
me the permission to do the essential kind of art making, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
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 Before I forget, my dear sister friend Zeta Riggs
Hmm.
told me you went to Vanderbilt with her. You remember?
Oh yes, of course. Viola.
Yes, yes.
Viola. Ooh. Yes.
Our dads
Oh,
are besties.
are you serious?
Yeah, our dad for years. So
Wow.
she said, please tell Daniel that I said hello. Yes, and
She
Zeta
kept me
was
honest. She kept me honest at Vanderbilt. Kept me alive. You know what I'm saying? She kept me alive.
yes.
Woo.
I love
Wow.
Zeta. We go way. That's my big sis. So
Amazing. Beautiful spirit. Beautiful
beautiful.
spirit.
I know. I used
Yeah,
to
she
look at her
kept me.
like, oh my God, I would hope I can be as cool as her someday because she was so cool.
Ooh, she kept me. That was my big sister. She kept me honest.
Yeah.
Tell
Z
you
don't
what.
Z don't
Yeah,
play.
yeah, she don't play. She
Oh yeah.
don't play.
That
Hmm.
all at all.
That's right.
So I don't want to keep you long. I could talk to you for
I
another hour.
know. I feel the same way.
You got to come back on combos
Love it.
in the evening time when we can.
Yeah, because I'm a lightweight. Give me 10 minutes and a glass of wine. Ooh, I'll be talking some truth, lies, spirit,
Let's
the
do it.
stories of the road.
Let's do it. And you know
I
what?
mean,
I
you better
ran
be
into
careful. You better be
you.
careful,
That's all right. That's all
right?
right. I'm here
Oh,
for it. I'm
I'll
here.
tell you
And you
what.
have to tell Mark. So I was with Carlos Simon and Titus
Oh,
Underwood. We
right,
were doing our Sphinx thing in DC a couple of weeks back, and I
right,
dropped Carlos off at Kennedy Center, and I
nice,
saw Mark coming out of the Kennedy Center, and
nice.
I was like, Carlos introduced us or whatever, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And in my Kiki Slack way, I was like, I sent you an email like, and you never responded, and he was like,
Good.
you're probably right. I was like, so now we see each other. So now you need to respond
Yeah,
to my email. I ain't never
that's
laid
right.
eyes on that man. But
I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna talk to him later today, so I'll tell him. I'm gonna say,
Yes,
Mark, you got
please,
some emails and some texts to send.
please do.
I
I might pull
will.
up. I'm gonna pull up on something one day.
I tell you what, you should. You should just go right there. And you know what's crazy? My son is going to be there today with his class. His class took a tour to
Uh-huh.
DC. So like in a few hours, they're going to go see a show at the Kennedy
Wow.
Center. And matter of fact, Emily Michelle, the great Haitian singer, is singing tonight at the Kennedy Center, that millennial stage. I think
Yes,
they
yes.
broadcast that. Yeah, she is. Ooh, you and her would. Yeah,
Okay.
Emmeline Michelle. I think she's Haiti's greatest singer. Most recorded, most records out. I think. Don't quote me on that, but certainly I've toured with her and done some projects, records with her. Incredible. Emmeline Michelle.
Ah,
All these connections.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Emmeline Michelle.
listen.
Anyways, but yeah,
I,
we're gonna do this again with a
yes,
glass of wine.
for sure, for sure. Is there anything you want to leave the crew with? Because I always like you to close instead of me talking.
Are you sure? Oh, are you sure? Because I was about to say the opposite. I was about to say, Kiki, you've got to close. You've got to have the last word. I would just say, first of all, thank you. I'm such a fan. I'm so in awe. I have learned and I'm learning so much from you. We need you. You know, our field needs you. Um, our generation and the generation coming needs you. Our young people need you. You have fans that you don't know about. You know, you have people who are right now listening to your voice and finding peace and solace and hope in the sound of your voice. So I want to thank you for your service. We're not first responders, but we be second or third or fourth? And you certainly are. So I just want to thank you. And I want to say thank you to so much love in the chat room. This is incredible. I've never seen a chat room so lit up. And it's really, inspiring to see that. I'll absolutely come back. But really, thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for this conversation. It's life affirming. And, you make me feel, I like to say, bulletproof and magic. Yeah, you make me feel magical. So thank
Oh,
you.
you're very welcome. I
Mhm.
I feel so blessed by this conversation. I needed this conversation, and I needed you to be the first person to come back. And that, the universe has a way of, if you just step out of the way, it just moves you where you
Yeah.
need to be. So I thank you for your generosity. I thank you for your honesty. I thank you for just being here. And I look forward to our next conversation and our many collaborations that I know will happen.
Oh, yes. We're going to
Oh,
get
yeah.
that 1965.
Yes,
We're going to
first,
get that.
first,
Yeah, we're
first,
going to
first.
get that. Yeah,
Yes, yes. Thank
love it.
you, Amy. Thank you, Portland Ovations. Thank
Yes, thank you, Portland Ovations.
you.
In the
Yes.
house.
In the house. I can't wait to
Woo.
see you all next weekend.
Jim,
Yes.
Derek, Yolanda, Anna, Toe Cross. Who else? Everybody's here. Ben, you said.
Yes.
Casey, we love you, everybody. I was about
Yes,
to shout the
Andy.
names.
All the
Patricia,
people. All the
Patrice,
people.
all the people. We love
All
you.
the people. We love you all. Thank you, Convos crew, as ever. Y'all are the
Mhm.
bomb. And
Love it.
I think next week we won't be back, but the following week. And if it's somebody y'all want to talk, y'all want to hear from,
Ooh.
drop a line and say, "Can you get this person? Can you get that person?" I am open to the audience suggestions. Anyway, I love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. DVR, stay on. Don't go. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Bye.